Hi, I'm Owen Fitzpatrick, author of the book, The Charismatic Edge, and in this free video, I want to share with you the 5 reasons why people buy things. Now, there's lots of reasons why people buy things, and what I've done is I've spent the last few years studying, well, what are the most important categories that we could put all of the reasons why a person buys something? What are all the different categories that we could put them into? And so what I want to do is share with you these categories, and the reason why this is so useful is, let's say you want to be able to sell something to a customer, a client. The first thing that you need to understand is, well, what's in it for them? Why would they buy that particular product? The more you understand why they would buy it, the more you understand their motivation, the more easy it is for you to be able to connect their motivation with the particular product and make them feel very, very strongly desiring of that particular product, of that particular service. So once again, I want to share with you what these categories are, and by you understanding them, it'll put you in a really great position, a pole position, to be able to sell much more effectively and to market more effectively to your clients or to your customers. The first category is survival. People buy in order to survive. So we buy food, we buy water, we buy fuel in order to heat, ourselves. We buy houses to live in and to give us shelter and to give us warmth. We buy a number of things in order for us to be able to survive, to stay alive. Now, our brains evolved to be able to help us to stay alive. That's one of your brain's primary functions, is to help you to survive. And in order to survive, it means that you have natural cravings. Now, we all know that we've got a craving for food. And we know a lot of times when people don't eat, they can get what we call hangry, which is angry and hungry, which, is combined and is hangry. And I certainly know some people that get quite moody whenever they're not eating. Maybe you know someone as well. Maybe you are someone as well. Anyway, I didn't mean to point, that was a bit aggressive. Anyway, the point is that some people do get angry when they're not fed because, again, they feel that need. Other people just feel starved and feel they get a craving for a particular type of food. The truth is that we also have a need for sleep. We need to be able to sleep. We need warm. When we're cold, we need to be warm. When we're wet, we need to be dry. When we're awake for too long, we need to sleep. We have these needs, these fundamental, basic body needs. So if you can help a person to sleep more easily, and that's, for example, everything to do with sleeping and nighttime in beds, if you can help a person to sleep more easily, if you can help them to stay warm, if you can help them to be fed, if you can help them to, be watered or drink water and stuff, all of those are things that are very, very important for their survival, so they're much more likely to be able to work with you on that. It's very easy to sell them in many ways. The problem is there's lots of competition for that. So in order for you to be able to help them survive, a lot of times it's not just good enough for them to have food, but they have to be emphasized in terms of the nutritious value of the food, etc., etc. But again, we're going to get into that in one of the other categories. But first category is to survive. So the question remains, how does your product help them to survive? And it mightn't directly do it, but if your product will help them make more money, then that's in many ways helping them survive, because the more money they have, the more likely they will be able to have a house, have a car to be able to get to where they need to go, to be able to afford fuel, to be able to afford food, to be able to afford all of the basic necessities. So again, how does your product or service help them to survive is the first question. The second thing is that people buy in order to feel better. So again, this could be feeling better in terms of health, but a lot of times it's to make people feel happy. So how does your product help people feel happier or feel better? If you can start to ask yourself all of the different things that you buy that makes you feel better. Some people buy alcohol and it might make them feel better in the short term, but it's not necessarily good for them in the long run. They might, again, buy cigarettes, the same thing. But if you can find things that your product or service does that helps them to feel better, the more likely it is that they'll want to buy from you. So again, if you can paint a picture of how your particular product or service makes them feel better, makes them feel good, then you're in a much better position to be able to sell effectively to them. A lot of the ads out there, the advertisements or the commercials in America, what they do is they focus on showing you how their product makes you feel really good. They paint beautiful pictures of these really good looking people having a wonderful time, and they associate that particular feeling with the particular product. So you think, oh, that product will make me feel good. Even when you buy particular branded products, like for example, Apple, if you buy it, a lot of times I buy an Apple computer, it makes me feel so good to buy it, even though necessarily I haven't even used it. So again, it's the branding, it's what the branding says, it's the fact that I feel good when I buy it. And so if you can ask yourself, how does your product or service make people feel good, then you're in a position where you're going to be much more likely to be better at selling to them. The third thing is that they don't just help you to feel better. Some products help you to get better. People make decisions in order to be able to get better at something. Now that could be get better in terms of to actually become healthier. It could be get better in terms of learning and improving their skills, but it also could be get better in terms of get more effective at doing the kinds of things they want to do in order for them to be more successful. So people have a need to be able to grow. They have a need to be able to improve in certain areas. So if you could show how your product or service can help them to get better at what they want to be better at in life. We all have a need or a craving towards becoming better than we currently are. Whatever it is that we enjoy to do, we want to become better at that. So, you know, if you're a golf coach, and you could paint an effective picture, obviously enough, of how you can help people to lower their handicap and become a better golfer, that again, that's going to be something that's very exciting for them to think about. So if you can understand how your product or service helps people to get better, or helps them to feel better, or helps them to survive, again, or doing all three, it's going to be much more likely that you'll be able to sell that particular product effectively and get them to make the decision to invest with you. As well as being able to help them to survive, help them to feel better, help them to get better, a lot of people make decisions in order to help them to look better. Now, this is an interesting one because quite a lot, necessarily looking better doesn't do anything for your health. Looking better doesn't necessarily do anything in terms of how well you're going to succeed or how competent you are. But a lot of people have a need to look better in front of other people. So a lot of cosmetic industry works like this. A lot of the health industry works like this. The motivation for losing weight often will be that they want to look great in a particular dress, or they want to have that six-pack, and they want other people to see it. So they want to feel good in front of other people. Very few people would admit to this, but it is something that drives multi-million-dollar industries, probably even multi-billion-dollar industries. So again, the question remains, well, how can they use your product to be able to look better? How can they use your service to be able to look better? How can you make their status increase? Even in terms of business, how can whatever it is that you can do for that in B2B business, how can you, whatever you bring to the business table, how can that improve their reputation or how they look in the market? How can that make the person who's the product manager or whoever it is that's making the decision to buy your product, how can you make them look better? So again, if you can always think about not just how can you help them to get better or improve, how can you get them to feel better or feel good, how can you get them to survive, but also asking yourself the question, how can you make them look better? That's something that will definitely make a difference to them and make whatever it is that you're selling much more enticing for them. And then the last one is, how can you help them to do better? Now, often people get mixed up between getting better and doing better, but getting better is when you improve at something. Doing better is when you make more of an impact. And in reality, we all have a desire to make an impact. We all have a desire to make a contribution to the world, to make the world a different place as a result of us interacting with it. So how can you help a person to make more of an impact, to communicate more effectively with people, to allow their product to change the world in some way? When Steve Jobs talked about motivating his employees, he would say, well, we want to make a dent in the universe. He wouldn't talk about, we want to make slightly better computers. It was all about making a grander, more powerful impact upon the world. And when you can show a client or a customer how your product or your service can help them to make a positive difference to the world, how it can contribute and help them to really make an impact, then you'll find that they'll be much more likely to buy it as well. So once again, in summary, in order for you to be able to communicate effectively with your customer, it's really, really important for you to understand the 5 reasons why they buy. And people typically buy to survive, they buy to feel better, they buy to get better, they buy to look better, and they buy to do the better. So if you can show them how your product or service helps them survive, if you can show them how it makes them feel good and feel better, if you can help them to understand how it helps them to improve or get better, if you can help to understand how it makes them look better or increase and improve their reputation and their status, and if you can help them to see how it will allow them to do better, to make more of an impact, then you'll find yourself being much more likely to win them over, to make them excited about your product, to make them want to tell other people, and to make them become a fan for life. I really hope you found value in this particular video. I hope that these 5 reasons why people buy is something that you know how to use and you're looking forward to using it to make a real difference to your life. Because of course, it's important to me that you use these skills to earn money so you can survive, so that you're able to enjoy the process of having a happier life and you feel better, so that you're able to improve your skills and become much more effective at what you do so you can get better, to ensure that you're looked at by other people in a more wonderful way so that other people see you looking better all the time. And then lastly, to make sure that you do better, to go out into the world and make a real impact with the skills that you have, with the products and services that can help change a person's life, change a person's business, change a person's world. I really hope this was of value. I really hope that you found this very useful, and I really hope that most importantly, you'll apply the ideas in it to make a real difference to your life. For now, I'm Owen Fitzpatrick. Thank you very much for watching.